first time you get up in front of an audience, you see all those eyes staring back at you. It can feel like you're being hunted. And like any animal being hunted, there's one of three different reactions. One is to freeze, one is to fight, one is to flight. And when I first got up, many, many years ago, Toastmasters started speaking, I had all three reactions, depending upon where it was in my speech. First time I got up on stage, looked at all these people looking back at me, my first instinct was just to freeze. And I started thinking, maybe if I just don't move anymore, like no one will pay any attention to me. And then as you probably figured out, I very quickly realized once I open my mouth, probably that whole freeze thing is going to be kind of blown completely away. So then I went to the second phase, just fight. Now, I wasn't a good fighter. Ken can vouch for me for that. But I was a defensive fighter. My goal was to make sure nobody could sneak up on me. So I was just like, okay, there you are. There you are. Nobody come any closer. And the whole time I was speaking, all I was thinking is, don't kill me. Just don't kill me. Don't attack me. Because I know any one of you at any time would just be getting me. And after the speech was over, it was all about flight. Just bam, just get off the stage as quickly as possible. Now, I became better at speaking because I was in Toastmasters. I learned all the skills. You heard Rosa talk about it. Well, variety, gestures, getting to the point, all these wonderful skills as the years went by. But that whole freeze, fight, flight thing just kept going on and on and on. And as the years rolled by, I started thinking, maybe this is the way it is. Every speaker, when they get up on stage, maybe everybody has to go through this. They're terrified. They feel that hunted thing. It's just a normal reaction. I'll just deal with it. But I thought, wait a minute, there are people I see, they look perfectly natural, they look scared, they aren't afraid, they aren't fighting their audience. What do they know that I don't know? And then I started thinking, well, maybe there are people who do know how to do this well. So I thought, well, who would know how to do speaking well? And I thought, well, probably good speakers. Makes sense? You want to find out somebody, you go to a good speaker, find out who a good speaker is. So I heard this guy called Craig Valentine. By now, some of you have heard of him many, many times. But to me, it was new at the time. Craig Valentine, and he just won the World Championship of Public Speaking. He was the best speaker in Toastmasters all over the world. I thought, this guy probably could help me out. So I became a virtual student of Craig Valentine. Craig Valentine became a virtual mentor. I studied the blogs and the videos and the emails and all the free stuff I could get, and even some of the buying the stuff, even the big fancy DVD packages, and reading all this stuff and going through. And the day that Craig Valentine said, I'm going to create a book called World Class Speaking. I'm going to release it. I thought, I've got to get that book. You know that feeling when you just have to have a book in your hands? Maybe you experienced with Harry Potter or some sort of craze. You just have to get the book in your hands. That's where I was. I've got to get that book. So I started looking around all the different bookstores. There were these things called bookstores back when I was growing up. You probably haven't heard of them today, but they were back there. All the different bookstores. One day I saw the book. There it was in the bookstore. It was like the book spoke to me and said, Tim, I have the answer to all your speaking questions. I said, book, what is the answer? And the book said, lo, read, and thou shalt find out. I said, wow. So I bought the book and started reading it. Do you know what? That was a really, really good point there. It transformed my speaking forever. The book simply pointed out that most speakers, when they get on stage, they give us a performance. They have to do something up here. But unfortunately, unless you know how to juggle or sing or yodel or do something entertaining on stage, nothing really happens. You can't really do anything. All you do is talk. And that's just not performance enough. But if you just focus on having a conversation with the audience, just create a conversation with the audience, that's not a big deal. Because then the pressure isn't on you. It just goes back and forth like any conversation. Sometimes the focus is on the audience, on you. The focus is on me and the speaker. And it goes back and forth. There's no this intense focus on the speaker. Just doesn't exist anymore. Because if you think back on a conversation, you'll notice very rarely do you have freeze, fight, or flight situations. If you're in a conversation with somebody, it's going really well. You don't say, hey, Ted, how are you doing? Yeah, me too. Boy, I'd really love to do that. That'd be nice. You tend not to freeze in conversations, right? It's just not a normal thing. Same way if you're having a good conversation, you probably don't start fighting. You don't say, yeah, that sounds like a wonderful thing. I'd love to go to Yosemite too. I'm taking all my family. Doesn't happen. And when you're in a conversation, you know, this thing of fighting is like, okay, this is really nice. I love talking to you, but I gotta go now. Doesn't happen. None of these things happen in a conversation. So just by creating a conversation with the audience, all of a sudden it put me in a whole different mind space. Start relaxing, calming down. Wasn't a big deal. It was more engaging. It was simple because I know how to talk to people. I could talk back and forth, did it all the time. Not a big deal. You know how to do that. Not a big thing. And so I became more focused, more aware, and my speeches became a lot better. And you do the same thing too. If instead of thinking about putting on a performance for everybody and being wonderful, just create a conversation. Start with your audience, use the you, go back and forth, find things that people are interested in, and really focus on whatever your audience wants to hear about and whatever you have to contribute to it, and be aware of that back and forth. So sometimes it's you, sometimes it's them, and it just goes back and forth. If you do that, you find the nervousness roll off you, the concentration increasing, and you just feel better on stage, and your audience will feel better after having seen you, having heard you. So, if you want to get better, if you're a little nervous on stage, or even if you feel like performing, put that away. All you really need to do when you're speaking is remember, create a conversation with your audience.